Hello, everyone. I'm Professor McGeehan. I want to welcome you to English 115 and to tell you a little bit more about this course. This course is based upon one very basic principle, and that is that writing is a process. Those are the three most important words to know about writing: process, process, process. Now, that doesn't seem like a controversial statement, but the truth is that many students resist approaching writing as a process. Many novice writers find it difficult to accept that writing is something that is done in stages. So the first question is, why should we approach writing as a process? Why is it important to follow a process in writing? Well, there are a number of reasons, but perhaps the most important one is that writing as a process is the antidote to writer's block, which is that horrible feeling where a writer sits at a keyboard and complains that I can't think of what to write about. Many of you have experienced that, I am certain. So how does the writing process address or remedy this problem? By dividing a big task into smaller steps. Writer's block generally occurs when the writer waits for fully formed, grammatically correct, and logical sentences to fall from his or her mind onto the paper. And as you probably know, that just doesn't happen. But if you're not worrying about grammar or structure, maybe even not even worrying about logic, then your mind is free to get out ideas. And writing starts with ideas. Let everything else wait. Just get something on paper to get started. You can work with something, but it's practically impossible to work with nothing. So the first step in the writing process is pre-writing. And that can take various forms, such as brainstorming, free writing, clustering, listing, and the web text tells you all about these various types of pre-writing. Pre-writing is basically generating ideas. Once the ideas are on paper, you can begin to shape them into a meaningful message for your audience. The web text, as I said, gives you these good strategies and explains. Try each of them and see what works best for you. As part of the writing process, you're also going to do research, but this is really the easy part of the writing process, because no matter which of the 5 topics that you will have to select from, no matter which one you pick, the web text will have the articles that you need or the sources that you need for research on that topic. So we'll talk more about that later, but as I say, that's the easy part. The writing process also includes making an outline. And here again, students are often resistant to making an outline. They say, for example, I do my best work when I just sit down and wing it. Well, that may be true, but at some point after you've winged it, you do need to structure it. Now, this can come almost at any point in the writing process, but you do want to make an outline. You skip it at your peril. I've found that the students who tell me that they just wing it and they don't do an outline are usually the same students that say, I think I get off topic too much, or I'm not sure if I'm on topic or not. Outlining is the way to avoid those kinds of problems. You can make sure with an outline that, because an outline identifies main ideas and key supporting details, it's easy to see whether for each of the main ideas you have sufficient support, and whether the support, the evidence, if you will, is relevant to that main point. So an outline is the way in which you can ensure you have a logical flow with one idea leading to the next. Finally, you're ready to put the whole thing together with a draft. Now, this raises the question of, how many drafts are you supposed to do? And there, unfortunately, is not an answer to that question. The answer is that you do as many drafts as you need to make it the very best writing that it can be. Some students either have been taught or have gotten the idea somehow that, you do 2 drafts. You do a rough draft and then you polish it up a little bit and you do a final draft. But the truth is that is not the way that good writing gets done. Really good writers, professional writers, go through many drafts. Sometimes you go through a paper, maybe read it through the entire paper once, and you'll just make a couple of changes. But then you'll come back to it the next day, and you may see something new that you want to change. Obviously, there is a point at which you have to let it go, but I think students generally let it go a little too quickly. Some students tell me they don't want to overthink, and that they sometimes overthink their writing. And if you're following the writing process, I doubt very much that the problem is going to be overthinking. It's usually the other way around. So, you want your writing to be the best it can be, so you revise, you edit, basically you rewrite. And that doesn't mean you're not a good writer. Revising and editing means you are a good writer. So how do you know when your writing is the best that it can be? Evaluating your own writing is challenging. There's no doubt about it. You have a hard time determining whether something is good when you're very close to it. So what you want to try to do, and this is why all writing experts will recommend that you let some time go by between drafts, so that you have a chance to put yourself at some distance from it and put yourself in the reader's shoes. One of the other really important principles about writing is that you have to consider your audience. After all, writing is about communication. Sometimes we express feelings, but unless you're just writing a journal in which you are the sole audience, it doesn't matter whether you understand it or not. Well, it might matter whether you understand it, but what matters more is that the audience understands it, that they're convinced by it. So you need to ask yourself questions as you review your writing and determine what needs revision. Am I being clear here? What does my audience already know about the topic? What do they still need to know about the topic? How are they likely to feel about the topic now before they get my message? So, writing is in some ways complex, but in other ways it is simple. The rules are basic, and if you follow them and if you're willing to try, perhaps a different approach than what you're used to doing, and the web text encourages you in this every step of the way, then I think you'll do very well in English 115. So stay tuned shortly for another video about the chapter 1 of the web text and some of the concepts about structuring your essay that you will find there.